next candidate for the United States Senate is Dr. Tom Tarter. Let's welcome Dr. Tarter.
That was great. That was wonderful, and it's hard to follow. I was asked by one of the committeemen why an older white male would be a compelling candidate. And I think we do need to be seen as the party of inclusion. And we are. So I have decided I'm not going to change my age, race, and sex just for this campaign. But I have been a senator before. When I was in college, a beautiful co-ed was the student body vice president. She was a year ahead of me, and she ran our student senate. So I ran around my dorm, and I got elected on the platform that I needed to get to know this co-ed. And I volunteered for some activities in the Senate, and 40 years later, we're still married. So that's how skillful I am as a politician. The truth is, I have never sought or held public office. I'm fresh. I have worked as a cancer doctor and cancer researcher for the last 24 years in Central Illinois. I raised my family here. Healthcare is everything that I know. Healthcare also polled #1 in a NBC Wall Street Journal poll of issues that are most important to the American public. That was from May 1st. The second issue was immigration reform. And the economy, because the economy is booming because of the Trump tax cuts, fell to third, the first time in many, many years since this poll has been taken. I have served on the 6-man board of governors of a 350 physician group practice. I have served on the board of directors of an insurance company. And most recently, I served on the Health Policy Council of my professional organization at the American Urological Association. There isn't a candidate in this race that is more qualified and more authoritative on healthcare than me. It is the #1 polling issue in the country. I got into this race and I gave up quite a lot. I retired. This is not a retirement plan for me. I had planned to retire in 3 years. I'm leaving all of that on the table for my family and me. After December, I'll be on a retirement income. And I really haven't worked all that long. I had a very short working life. I'm like a professional athlete. You make your money in that amount of time, and then you live on it for the rest of your retirement. So that's the commitment that I have to this campaign. I am absolutely all in. I'm in it for the right reasons, like our president. I don't need this job. I want this job because I know I'll be good at it. I am alarmed at what the Democrats want to do with health care. There was another report that came out in May, other than the Mueller report, surprise, and that was the Congressional Budget Office report on a single-payer system. If you read that report, I don't even know why the Democrats requested it, because you would never want such a system. When you make something free and the demand goes way up, the only way to control expenditures is to reduce the number of services. That translates to extreme rationing of care and reduction in reimbursement, which means the loss of providers of up to 40%. And we already have a doctor shortage in this country. In 2025, there's going to be a 25% reduction in urologists. So if you're going to have a kidney stone, have it now, not in 2025. And that leads to long wait times. And what happens in countries where that happens? Dick Durbin likes to say, healthcare is a right and it shouldn't just be for the wealthy. He says this over and over and over again. What happens in developed countries that have these systems? The wealthy take their healthcare dollars where they get the best value. 60,000 Canadians cross our border every year to purchase healthcare services. India's medical travel industry in 2020 will be a $9 billion industry. I don't want to have to go to India. And there's no other place. I don't want to go to Mexico. I want to have my health care here. I often wonder as I get closer to retirement, who's going to take care of me? I've been doing this for 24 years, never turning down a patient for ability to pay. There are sensible, common sense, market-driven ways that we can reduce the cost of healthcare in this country. We do not need to spend 17% of our GDP on it. But you need good, smart ways to reduce the cost of healthcare and make it affordable to every American. The big elephant in the room, and I like elephants, is the fact that 29 million citizens under age 65 do not have health care. That's 9% of the population. So what are we going to do? We're going to transform our whole healthcare system and put the 91% on an inferior plan so that the 9% will be covered. The fact is, most of those 9%, more than 75%, have a full-time job, and 70% of them, their employers don't pay for their insurance, and they make too much money to qualify for subsidies. So they're choosing not to purchase healthcare insurance. There are many other plans that they can have, and the president is opening this wide open for them. But to some degree, the Supreme Court says you can't mandate people purchasing insurance. So to some degree, hopefully very small when we get this fixed, we'll always have a small part of our population that is uninsured. It's better than a complete transformation of our entire system into an inferior plan than the one we have paid into all of our lives. When they say Medicare for all, do not believe it. It's a lie. It's an inferior plan. I'm gonna wrap it up. I could go on about healthcare for much longer than that, but it has been my life, and it will continue to be my life, only in a different role. Immigration is the other high polling issue. We need immigration reform. If we do not have 60 Republican senators, there will be no immigration reform. We need 60 Republican senators. And I think it's going to happen in Michigan. I think it's going to happen in Virginia. And it's going to happen here. Dick Durbin, I made my announcement of my campaign in the Chicago media market on Monday. And they aired my statement on immigration. And right next to that, they showed Dick Durbin meeting with a group that gives aid to illegal immigrants. The unions need to know that the union-provided health care is going to change if Dick Durbin gets reelected. It's going to be an inferior plan to the one that they're providing their members. But they also need to know that illegal immigrants are here for their jobs. And Dick Durbin isn't taking care of the working man. He's taking care of the illegal immigrants. So I'm going to be your nominee for the U.S. Senate. I'm working very hard. I'm raising money. I'm getting organized throughout the state with the time that I have. I will be full-time after December. I want to thank everybody in the room who has helped me to get to this point. And God bless every one of you and our great state and the United States of America. Thank you.